being political. I'm just being biblical in today's teaching. You see, the fact is that the culture has hijacked the narrative on social and moral issues that the Bible has already addressed. And then the culture has twisted those things, distorted and perverted those social and moral issues into political issues, and then told pastors like me and Christians like you to stop being so political. Well, I have news for our culture. God had a say on all these subjects long before there was even a word political. God in the Bible speaks about life, national borders, immigration, economic prosperity, biological sex, marriage, parental authority, Israel, even the environment. It's all in the Bible. God had the first word long before anybody.
Welcome to Faith and Freedom Fridays, where we explore the godly way to vote with faith and integrity. Here are your hosts, LaTanya Evans and Kathy Ryan.
Well, hello there. Welcome, everybody. We got a jam-packed show for you tonight. Our opening video, Pastor Gary Hamrick from Cornerstone Chapel Church in Leesburg, Virginia. That is from his Election Day 2024 sermon. And pretty powerful words that he was saying about the our culture and what's happening today, that God has already spoken about that. And Ezekiel 33, 1-5 says, "The word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, speak to your people and say to them, when I bring the sword against the land, and the people of the land choose one of their men and make him their watchman, and he sees the sword coming against the land and blows the trumpet to warn the people, then if anyone hears the trumpet but does not heed the warning, and the sword comes and takes their life, their blood will be on their own head. Since they heard the sound of the trumpet but did not heed the warning, their blood will be on their own head. If they had heeded the warning, they would have saved themselves." Friends, I'm saying tonight that the warning has already been heeded. There has been a warning. The trumpet has sounded. We're talking about voting and voting biblically, and our culture, we've been asleep. The church has been asleep, and it's time to wake up before it's too late. And this election, again, is not against Republican or Democrat, against Trump or Kamala Harris. It is about good versus evil. It's about the policies, which is more good and which is more evil. And then as we as Christians, we need to pay attention to that. And so tonight, as we move forward, we're going to talk about community impact and influencing change. In the beginning here, community impact. We've all seen what has been going on with the hurricanes. We've all seen the horrific damage and the people that have lost their lives. And it's heartbreaking. And to see how our government, which is FEMA, which is an entity that is supposed to come out and help us when natural disasters hit, whether it be the hurricanes, whether it be the forest fires that we had a few years ago here in California that demolished towns, literally demolished towns, tornadoes. Milton just has annihilated Florida with tornadoes. It's crazy. And, praise God, we haven't had an earthquake that's done damage. I shouldn't have said that in a long time, but you know, these things happen. These things happen. And I heard someone say recently, has society relied more on government now than the church? I'm just going to let that one sink in.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. My thing was on mute. So when even in the beginning, when I was wanting to say hello to everyone, yes, we both heard that statement. Have we become more reliant on the government than on God, or, the church, or how the church is supposed to take the lead on these things? And you know, I never thought about it really like that. Like a lot of the churches of old, and how they took care of the widows. They took, they did all these things. And um not to say that, like, oh, no government at all involvement, but that's something to really ponder and to look at, like, wow.
It used to be, and it reminds me of the Civil War. Um, the churches opened up and became hospitals for the wounded.
Mm.
It became, and they became shelters for the unhoused, because it wasn't a national disaster. There were bombs and bullets and all kinds of stuff that went and destroyed not just the soldiers on either side, but actual homes.
Mm.
And especially in the South, the plantations. And so the churches stepped in to help. And you guys, I don't know if you've seen in the news lately, where FEMA took 5 days to get to anywhere after Helene. 5 days. People were stranded. The South Carolina governor didn't deploy the National Guard to help with search and rescue. It was volunteer organizations that went out and helped. And we have a couple of clips. One is Samaritans Purse, which is a foundation from I'm drawing a blank now. Billy Graham.
Billy Graham. Okay.
Yeah, Billy Graham. Yeah, okay. And his son and his granddaughter are now running Samaritans Purse. But that's the church. That's a religious organization that has put together something that is like the Red Cross, which is better. And then there's another organization of oh goodness, my mind's playing. Of Operation Solutions of reserved military that are medics, that are helicopter pilots, that are going in and where people can't get back in the back roads and helping people. But FEMA, what are they doing? I mean, we saw last week the clip from Kamala Harris offering $750.
I know. That's still wow.
$750. So people are out there hurting, but it begs the question again, and we'd like to hear Mercury One, yes. Mercury One is also a division of Operation Solutions. They work hand in hand. Stacy posted there about Mercury One.
Oh,
And then also, yes, the Cajun Navy, and I have clips from them as well. But it goes back, and why are we relying so much on our government? When the founding fathers wrote the Constitution, it was supposed to be limited government. That's what we ran from. That's what the Pilgrims ran from, was the oppression from the kingdom in England, was the monarchy telling them it's this way, you don't have a choice, and the suppression and everything had to be done and ruled by the government. And it takes me back to when Obama was running back in 2008. A realtor friend of mine, she kept posting, no more big government and all this stuff. And I didn't really understand what that meant. I understand what it means now. When COVID hit, I understand what big government means.
what big government? Mhm.
And that was not the intention of the founding fathers for the United States of America. It says, for the people, by the people, we the people are the government. We the people, not those people in Washington.
Right.
We hire them to represent us. And if they're not representing us to the fullness of our values, they need to go.
Yeah.
They need to go. Get out. We got to vote them out.
Well, that's just, well, I won't say, because we are not trying to tell people who to vote for. We're not trying to tell people any of that. We're bringing information and being informative on this particular election, and to do your research. I hope to be able to post some other sites that people can, and we can also, I want to put it in so people can, I can highlight it so people can take down those sites. But it's really, yeah, we can get into all of that.
Yeah.
I'm,
So
yeah, to talk about.
let me find the clip, because I found another clip. And this enraged me. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but because it's pretty long.
Okay.
I think.
Oh,
I think it's here. Okay. I'm going to share my screen.
okay.
And this is how this FEMA
Can you
didn't get to.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, you're setting to let people know.
Yeah, FEMA didn't get to North Carolina for 5 days after the hurricane. Okay.
Mm.
This is, so I'll set this up. Glenn Beck, he's a reporter. He's a Christian. He has a podcast, and you usually can find it on Rumble. And he's with Congressman Corey Mills from Florida. And they're out traveling and viewing all the destruction and what's going on in North Carolina. They come across a FEMA truck that is not on the highway, it's off the highway. So we'll just play it from there.
Okay.
And a flyer.
Yeah.
How do I know this exists? Oh, the local media. Okay, well, they don't have power.
Yeah.
They might not have a vehicle.
Right.
So what about
I saw a lot of them washed away.
That's right.
Hi.
Ma'am, how are you?
This is Patricia.
Hi, Patricia. I'm glad. This is Congressman
Mills.
Hello.
How are you, ma'am?
Good.
So we're wondering, we just asked, when do you guys go door to door? He was telling that.
After we get the general stuff done, we got to hit the mass people first, wherever the mass people are. So the mass people are here. Let's get them into the system as quickly as possible. Once we get the masses done, then we start going door to door.
Okay. How do people know you're here?
We just got here.
You just got here.
We were here yesterday,
Yeah.
and today's our first day with this unit.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we're going to move the unit.
This was filmed 4 days ago. Just so you know.
Wow. Up by the car wash.
So
Yesterday we couldn't do anything besides give them the information because we didn't have any Wi-Fi.
Right.
I will say, and this is just someone we got lucky enough, Glenn actually spotted it before I did, but I think even having this vehicle more towards the front of the road where people even know that it exists, for visibility, with people coming by, might actually.
Yeah, we were in a van with 8 people. I was the only one that saw it.
Exactly right.
No, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we got to do. We just needed a temporary spot to turn around and get things up and running.
Yeah,
and the guy that's running this facility here, I spoke with the manager here. He said this would be a good spot. The guy that's running the parking lot, who's a different guy, I didn't know that. He said so the car wash would be better, and I was like, boy, that's really smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where we're going to be set up tomorrow, and we should be doing registrations. We'll be here between 9 and 10. We're all coming in from Charlotte. He'll be here a little bit earlier, and then we'll start tearing down about 5 o'clock so that we can get out of here.
Great.
Because we don't necessarily go door to door. It's not my cadre, anyways. There are.
I'm sorry, bureaucratic BS.
Wow.
They didn't have internet. Elon Musk, Donald Trump contacted Elon Musk to get Starlink out there. Why didn't they have Starlink? They would have had internet right away and be able to register people for help. This is absolutely
Wow.
insane.
So, wow. And this is what is so bad, is that it's blatant. You see what's happening. And where's the outrage?
Yeah, where is the outrage?
They don't care. Exactly. They don't care.
Well, it's not only that, is, the controversy, they said, well, we saw that one video last week from Carl Higbee about how FEMA was incompetent and out of money and all this stuff.
Right.
Mayorkas, a few days later says, no, that's not true. It's misinformation and all of this stuff. I have a clip.
Oh,
and he denied that any money went to the immigrants.
so wasn't there, before you go to the clip, wasn't there a, like, on Congress on the Hill where they were asking him about it? Like, isn't there like some type of investigation or something?
There's an investigation starting, but Congress is in recess. And
Okay.
I saw a scroll by on one of the news programs today that Speaker Johnson says we're not going to return from recess to give FEMA more money.
Wow. People better wake up. Wow.
Yeah. So,
and and I have to say, Chris, you're right about what you just said. That's exactly it. If it happens in their backyard, when it
mhm,
happens to them,
yep,
then yeah. But as long as it's like,
nope.
yes.
So play this clip,
Mm,
the FEMA illegal clip.
okay.
On the screen right here. DHS announces 380 million for illegals. DHS announces 77 million for illegals. FEMA awards 110 million for illegals. New York City 104 million for illegals. DHS 300 million for illegals. 340 million for illegals. There it is, right there. You can read them yourself. I thought Mayorkas said it was misinformation.
He said it was misinformation, but there it is. And those FEMA ones, not the political one, but the three FEMA headlines, that's directly from their website.
Wow.
Those are press releases from their website. Elections have consequences, people, because the administration puts the head of these directors in these agencies. These Mayorkas is not an elected official. He's appointed.
Right.
So you get people who are incompetent. He's not only in charge of FEMA, he's in charge of the Secret Service. He's in charge of the border. Is he doing a good job? He's supposed to answer to Kamala Harris. Is she doing a good job?
Kamala, as they say, well, word salad.
That's tomorrow night show.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Oh yeah, we have to tell them about that at the end. But yeah.
So it goes back to what Pastor Gary had said in the beginning, in the opening clip, that the answers are in the Bible for all of this.
Yes. Yes.
And it goes back to which candidate, whether you like them or not, it isn't about personality, it's about policy.
Yes.
We Christians have to get over personality.
Well,
We do, because voting personality is not biblical.
mm,
Voting policy is biblical, and it's the policies of the candidate that are going to most line up with the Word of God. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Latania's not perfect. The
no.
only one that's perfect that would be Jesus, and he's not running for president. And it's not just the president. It is the senators. It is the congressmen. It is your city council. It's your school boards. And I'm telling you, we need to wake up. But let's show these clips here of these wonderful volunteers that really stepped up. And Samaritans Purse and Operation Solutions, actually, they got there before FEMA.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sharing my screen.
Just devastating. I mean, this is just unreal.
the way this has all happened.
Damage is, catastrophic. I mean, it's 100% loss.
I feel like we're being forgotten. We haven't received any response from FEMA.
Well, right now we still have no power, no water, really no way to go to the restroom.
Countless Americans suffering in the wake of Hurricane Helene now face the harsh reality of trying to rebuild.
Meanwhile, Kamala Harris dangles a $750 aid check as if that's a lifeline. What's that going to get you when your entire town just slid off the side of a mountain? Alongside the bloated inefficiency of this administration's response, it's Americans helping Americans that is making the real difference, like the people, the folks at Samaritans Purse, with volunteers spread out from North Carolina to Florida and Georgia, delivering supplies and even more.
Joining us now is Samaritans Purse Chief Operating Officer Edward Graham. Edward, good to see you and thank you for being with us. So just talk to us about the work that Samaritans Purse is doing to bring aid and relief to the people in this damaged area of North Carolina.
Yeah, and I appreciate you having me on. I mean, right now we're responding in my hometown of Boone, North Carolina. This is where our international headquarters is, and we're sending about 1,000 volunteers out every day, just here locally, but we're also serving down in near Asheville at the Billy Graham Training Center. We got volunteers there. I was just down there today watching the volunteers out and serving. And then we're also in Valdosta, Georgia, as you said. Now, the two sites down in Florida, we just had to pull back across the state line. We're waiting to see where this next hurricane hits, and then we'll try to get them back into Perry and down in Tampa to begin working. And then we're bringing in more teams and staging them closer by, 2 more teams to be able to respond if need be with this hurricanes we're watching in Florida. But they come in, they do mud outs, they tarp roofs. Mud outs are hard jobs, and there's a lot of mud outs to do. We do debris removal, chainsaw work, and it's all done through volunteers working through the local church. That's how Samaritans Purse responds.
Edward, your grandfather, Billy, was a constant presence in my grandmother's home and in my home growing up. So I feel like you are part of my family, and I understand where your giving and devotion is rooted. But what you have been able to do, it fills in the holes where the government should be. And I know that you don't want to make this political, but every person I've talked to in North Carolina, every person we've talked to, the government and FEMA have just not showed up in the way that it should have.
Well, there's a lot of anger and frustration, but we work through the local church to include right now. We have a large helicopter operation going on. We have our own helicopter we usually use down the Caribbean to sling load supplies in after hurricanes there on the islands. But we're using it here, but we've also leased helicopters. We brought in, there's been an army of volunteer helicopters coming in, especially from NASCAR team owners. And so we coordinated those efforts, and we're taking those supplies into these areas that even the government can't get back to really right now. But I would tell you the North Carolina National Guard, especially with their helicopters, are working hard, and they're even getting our supplies into these difficult areas. It's starting to get cold. They need power. That's changed. It was food and water. Now it's really power generation. So we're flying we bought thousands of generators, and we're flying them into these communities. They're able to get fuel there. And then we're also doing heating. They need heating sources because it's getting down to the 30s already in some of these higher elevations. And so some of these communities are telling us it'll be about 4 months till they get power. I don't know if that's true, but as you look at it, I can see the challenge that the power companies are going to have. It's complete destruction, especially in these real rural areas.
So, Edward, with the resources that you have and the other volunteers, and when FEMA comes in, should they come in, are you able to get people back online? Are they being taken care of? Do you have people still in a really dangerous time of crisis, or is that beyond us? A week and a half after the storm has hit, are people in a far better place? People are safe, or is there still great need out there? People are still at risk right now. Give us the assessment of what you're seeing on the ground.
Yeah. No, there's still great need. Matter of fact, we're working to get Starlink. We're buying them up ourselves as well, and taking these helicopters. And what we'll do with these churches that we're working with, these rural churches and these volunteer fire departments, they have become the network. This is where everyone's gathering. When we land there in the helicopter, I've been out the last 2 days with our teams delivering supplies. There's about 40 people at each of these Matter of fact, one I went to probably had 120 there. They're all gathered, and we set up Starlinks, and that's the place where they can communicate out, do a medevac if they have to. But it's where they're also putting up other Starlinks further up into the valleys where they can connect, and those are the hubs for communication. We're taking side-by-sides in there to get past these areas with heavier supplies, so these fire departments that lost their equipment, they can get it higher up to where it needs to go.
Edward Graham.
Wow.
Yeah. They really step up, and
That was
think of them.
Oh, that was a good clip, Kathy. I have let me go to it.
Yeah,
So,
you can donate there to SamaritansPurse.org.
yes, yes. And so, if I want to make sure I'm understanding, this was created by the church, right? The
Yeah,
church.
it's part of Billy Graham's ministry.
Okay.
And it was carried on. It was founded by his ministry, and it's being carried on by his children and grandchildren. And they partner with local churches.
They partner with, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that and they were one of the first ones to get in there, as well as the other one that we had mentioned, Operation Solutions, that is also part of Mercury1.org.
Operations
Solutions. Operation Solutions. And these are reserve military.
And this is I'm just typing it, operationsolutions.org.
I don't know the website.
Okay, but it's Operation Solutions.
Right. You probably can find them through Mercury1.org.
Mercury1.org.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then this is about the Operation Solutions.
Okay. Okay.
And it's Mercury 1, ONE.
Oh, it's ONE. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Helene's death toll now hitting 232 people, making it the deadliest storm to hit the United States since Hurricane Katrina. And the survivors say they've been forgotten by the government. That's why our next guest has stepped up. He's a veteran using his own helicopters to distribute supplies and help with search and rescue. Founder and CEO of Operator Solutions, Brandon Doherty, joins us now. Brandon, great to have you on the program this morning. We're hearing this story. We're hearing this story over and over of private veteran groups, citizens stepping into this void, stepping into the chaos right now that is Western North Carolina and filling needs. Tell us what you're experiencing, what you're doing there in North Carolina.
Yeah, well, what I can tell you is that it's a group of privately funded individuals. You see a picture here of myself and Corey Mills, who is a congressman out of Florida. He took it upon himself to fund our initial push into the area. In fact, all the gas from our helicopter is put on his personal card, and he is backed up by Mercury One and several other organizations, but this is completely privately funded. These are private citizens that are helping out, and it's
Right.
It's a shock. It's a shock to me, Will, because I spent my whole life rescuing American citizens overseas in combat. And if we had somebody behind enemy lines, we would spare nothing, no expense to go and get them. And it is a travesty that there is not more folks helping out. It's way worse than the media is reporting. In fact, we have the ability, because we have helicopters and hoists, that we can get way in behind where anybody else can fly into, and we can hoist in and rescue people.
Right.
And there are a lot of affected people that nobody even knows about. I would not be surprised if this death toll actually doubles, if not greater.
Brandon, I keep hearing that, even the images we get, it's not communicating the full extent to which this damage, this devastation has taken over Western North Carolina. I have two specific things I want to ask you. From what I've been able to gather, a real problem is that last mile problem. Some supplies can get close to maybe Asheville, but so many people live buried in the mountains on rural roads. They're cut off from civilization, and civilization is cut off from them. That's where your helicopters come in. Have you guys been able to kind of breach some of that last mile, getting these isolated people?
Yeah, absolutely. We flew in over 15,000 pounds of goods. The folks up there, we've been getting them water, of course, but they don't really need water. They need generators. They need Starlink. They need space heaters. It's going to be 30 degrees in the mountains next week. These folks are sleeping under tarps, and, they're extremely isolated. But, here's the deal. Why are there not truckloads of the Army Corps of Engineers in there building roads, building bridges?
Right.
We are doing this, again, privately funded, Americans helping Americans, which is incredibly inspiring, but it's also incredibly disappointing because we're letting our American brothers and sisters down.
Brandon, I have to ask you this really quickly. So, conflicting reports, but I've had it confirmed to me, and I've seen Elon Musk tweet through this. Did airspace get shut down by the Fed so all these private helicopters could no longer run these missions, and is it now back up? Is that something you've experienced? Was it shut down? Is it up now?
So, Will, I heard that as well. The only time it was shut down for us was on Wednesday. I believe the president flew in, and all rescue operations had to stop for 2 hours. But then when the airspace opened back up, we were back in the game. But as of like 7 p.m. last night, when we flew our last mission, the airspace was still open. I'm not sure how it is currently.
I'm really glad to hear that. Appreciate what you're doing. I can speak to this personally. Mercury One, which you're wearing on your chest, JP Decker, Glenn Beck, Corey Mills, of course. You guys are doing incredible work. I know about it personally. I want everyone to know watching. There's incredible stuff going on. And Brandon, you're a part of that. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Wow. This is far worse than what the media is reporting. Why?
Well, the mainstream media,
or the
liberal media.
Well, why is there not the National Guard in full force? Why aren't they sent down there? And just like how he was saying, these are private citizens who are doing this. And like even what Elon Musk is trying to do and others, why are we not? This is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
And if anything, Kamala, she missed a great opportunity to try to show some leadership. If she was
she tried. She went on the Weather Channel and tried to explain how hurricanes work.
Are you serious? The Weather Channel? We have to get that clip and maybe show it tomorrow, or show it.
I'll find it.
The Weather Channel. And
I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny. I mean, it's true. It's terribly true.
Wow.
And then, she lied about trying to reach Ron DeSantis, and he didn't call. He didn't take her calls. And then Biden does a press conference and said that he talked to DeSantis, and he was cordial. He was grateful. He was gracious and all this stuff. So, it's like these politicians are trying to make a natural disaster political.
Mm-hmm.
It's not political. It becomes political when there aren't funds in the federal emergency program to help American citizens because they've spent it on these illegals that are here breaking the law that and I'm sorry, the Biden administration and Kamala Harris, the Biden-Harris administration is breaking the law by letting these people in. It's federal law that says these people are not supposed to be allowed to come in like they're coming. They have to go through a process.
Like everyone else.
And, like my ancestors did.
Well, this isn't a good look because let me just be, and this is why I say this, because in so many ways, those who are in other countries who are who want to come over, who want a better life and contribute to this country, they deny them and all kinds of things.
Right.
And they just want to come over. They want to work hard. They want to contribute and all of that. And then, and they're seeing this, and even the people who are, let's say, from, the country of over there. Can you imagine what they are thinking? Like, wow, we had to do this, and worked really, all of that to come over here the right way. And now you guys can it's just open doors. Like the door is open, like, okay, how many ever can come through? That's not right for those individuals.
There is no country in the world that allows their borders to be open like this. None. You can't even go to Canada. You have to prove that you can support yourself if you want to live in Canada.
Yeah.
You have to go through checkpoints. Everybody says that when Trump wanted to build the wall, that it was a terrible thing. It was racist. How is a wall racist?
It's not.
It's this narrative is ridiculous. So I found the clip of her on the Weather Channel.
Oh, okay.
I think it's it. I'm almost positive it's it. But okay. Let me.
Okay.
I think it's about here.
Live on the phone is the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Madam Vice President, thank you so much for being with us. You, as well as the President, have expressed a lot of concern about, misinformation spread about FEMA in particular. What can you tell the people in Florida about the federal government's ability to help them out in this hurricane, especially after this hurricane?
Sure, Mike. First of all, let me tell you that we just had a very important briefing with the head of FEMA, Homeland Security, the National Oceanic Administration, and we are ensuring that federal resources are on the ground, pre-positioned to help folks with water and food, and also obviously personnel in terms of having folks on the ground who are going to work with the local and the state authorities so that we're well coordinated. We have more than 1,000 federal personnel on the ground in Florida right now, and we're going to continue to scale up, and we're working with these incredible local leaders to prepare. I would also emphasize that it's really important that your viewers, your listeners, listen to your local authorities. What has been emphasized over and over again is that this will be unlike any hurricane the region has ever experienced. And I know we got some tough Floridians who have dealt with hurricanes before and have been fine. This is going to be different. So please listen to your local officials and understand the seriousness of this and your ability to frankly save your life, because this is expected to be not only dangerous but deadly. The other point, Mike, that I would make, especially came through on the briefing from the federal experts, it's really important that we think about the language that we're using to talk about what we are predicting. Because, for example, it has moved from time to time from a Category 5 to a Category 4. It's important that we not emphasize that downgrading has happened, because, in fact, the difference between Category 5 and Category 4 in terms of the danger and the damage is pretty much the same. Similarly, when we're talking about the surge threat, it may have dropped, it may increase, but it's still dangerous. It's still extremely dangerous. So it's important that we communicate to folks that there may be some fluctuations around some of the levels, but we are absolutely entirely within the zone of dangerous, deadly levels, regardless of how it fluctuates within that. And so I just want to emphasize that to you. And then, of course, for the folks who are still trying to survive and recover from Hurricane Helene, don't listen to anything or anybody who's trying to make you more afraid than you already.
I can't listen anymore. I'm sorry. And she's trying to tell the Weather Channel how hurricanes work.
You know what is so interesting? I like that. Blah, 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 blah. What's so interesting is she's talking and doing very well, and you can't see her. So you see what I'm saying? Like how it's like,
She's reading from
yeah,
the script.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Or
So-
yeah, you're right. Or in her ear, so we can't see.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
it's like, I mean, she's on point. Oh my gosh. But what about if she's not? And we already know, we see. But I'm just saying, people, I mean, just notice how there is how it is, and then in person,
Yeah, it's something totally different.
it's something totally different.
So, it's really important, again, that the American people are taken care of, and that the right people get into office that are able to manage these services. And we can see everything's starting to come to light. I see it more and more, is how Washington mismanages our tax dollars so terribly. And we just need to be careful on who we vote for.
Right.
The Democrat Party has always been, and it's the same way. I mean, Donald Trump's a businessman. He's in real estate. I align with him because I'm a realtor. I understand real estate. I understand business. And there are people in a negotiation to buy a house, when they're going back and forth negotiating on this, that, and the other terms and all this, especially after the inspection is done. A buyer will always want repairs, and it isn't really the repairs, it's that they want money. So there are agents that will automatically just throw money at it. The Democratic Party, when there's a problem, will automatically throw money at it. Why? And when we have natural disasters going on, people are dying. This is the most deadliest hurricane in our lifetime. It is even more deadly than Katrina. More people have died from Hurricane Helene than they did in Katrina. Katrina, there was like 217 people that died. Last count that I saw, it was 233 people from Helene.
Oh, Colleen.
So my question to our government leaders, our congressmen, our senators, our so-called president and vice president. I'm sorry, I'm being nice, but I'm not happy with the way they're performing right now.
Yeah.
Why did you give $157 million to Lebanon that is housing terrorists who hate the United States? Why are you doing that? That's my tax dollars. I don't agree with that. If you're not going to be fiscally responsible with my tax dollars, you need to go.
Yes. Yes.
Just.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a little angry over that, if you couldn't tell. There's one more organization, the Cajun Navy, which I have a clip, but we got another important issue to get to too, so I don't think I'm going to show it. But the Cajun Navy, they're an organization that gets to people where cars and planes and the basic mode of transportation can't get to people. So they go back on horseback and mules, and they get supplies and help to people. So they're an amazing organization as well. So I would look them up, and that's the Cajun Navy.
Cajun Navy?
Yeah, the Cajun Navy. Let's see if I can find their website.
Okay, Cajun Navy. And
yeah. And they're another volunteer. They have a page on Facebook. So I'm going to post it here. And it's called the Cajun Navy 2016. Here. And I posted it. So, yeah, Shireen, you'll have to copy my posts and post them on Real Talk as well. So, yeah, they're a great organization. 100% volunteer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As well. So, shifting gears here. So we'll transition into this. I don't know if you guys are aware of what's going on in schools with these pornographic books, mainly in the middle schools and high schools. It is a real problem. And there is a pastor, former football player, John Amuku, that has been going to school boards around the nation. And he was here locally to the Temecula school board about one of California's crazy, stupid, liberal, horrible laws about transgenders in the high school. And he spoke there, and it's one of the, when he first started, and the video went viral of him at the Temecula School District. But he's been going around to school board meetings and fighting for children. And here, he just recently was arrested at a school board meeting. And here's the video and his story. It's a little lengthy, but it's, I can only share 3 videos. Okay. I got to delete a video.
Okay. So probably.
Okay.
And then.
Let's see if I can upload it now.
Okay.
Yep, there it is.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So this is what has happened to him.
You were handcuffed and perp walked on the side of the road in Pittsburgh. But you're not the only one. My next guest was handcuffed at Wake County School Board meeting for demanding justice for Lorena Benson. Please welcome John Amuku. John, glad to see your hands are your own. And walk us through what happened that night.
So I went to the Wake County School Board meeting to demand justice for Lorena Benson and for all of the students in North Carolina and Wake County in particular. This past year, we passed what is called HB 49, a parental rights bill. The Wake County School Board has failed to adhere to state statute. I addressed that problem. And then also a young girl by the name of Lorena Benson at the age of 15 went to the Wake County School Board meeting 2 weeks ago to address a situation where she was forced to read from a pornographic story. It talked about an incestuous relationship between two cousins, where the cousins discussed putting one's banana into the other person's tomato. She was traumatized by that to the point that she resigned from the school. She spoke at the school board meeting. She displayed courage, and they showed her no justice, no recourse. No one addressed it and did anything about it. So I came demanding justice for Lorena Benson, and justice for all of the kids in North Carolina. I told them at the end of my message, since you all like to break laws, state statutes, and fail to give people justice, today, when I finish speaking, when my 3 minutes is up, I'm not leaving the podium. And immediately, the cops rushed in, grabbed me by my arm, and tried to drag me out, but they would not pull out or drag out the school board leaders who are breaking state law. No one pulled them out for failing to address the issue that Lorena Benson addressed, but they handcuffed me. You know, I'm the right color when it comes to the Democrat Party, but I'm the wrong political party. See, if I were a woke black man in America, they wouldn't handcuff me. If I represented the alphabet mafia, the LGBTQIA plus community, they wouldn't have handcuffed me. But because I'm a black Christian conservative pastor, they handcuff me because they want me to remain on the liberal plantation. I'm demanding justice, even now, for Lorena Benson. I'm demanding justice for the kids in Wake County and in North Carolina who go to school and they're met with content, gender theory and queer theory and critical race theory. You know, in school now, we're telling kids that if you are white, you are the enemy. If you're a white, you are inherently racist. And if you are black, you are a proverbial victim. This is a major injustice. I'm a black man in America and I'm no one's victim. The last time I checked, you can't be royalty or a royal priesthood and a victim at the same time.
That's good. That's good, John. Let me go to this shot here. Number 21, guys. Show this. Number 21. This is, I don't know if we missed it, but there you are handcuffed, and I see you talking to the officer there, John. Tell me and tell the folks at home, what did they say to you once they got you outside the event?
Officer Cooper there is telling me, you know, that I can't do what I'm doing. There's a better way to handle this. There's a better way to address this. But I disagree with that. You know, I think now more than ever, we need more Christians, more pastors who are willing to practice peaceful civil disobedience. When the cop grabbed my arm and yanked it, I didn't pull back. You know, I'm 6'4", 260 pounds, a former Division I football player. I was pound for pound the strongest man on NC State's football team. I allowed him to pull me out, but I practice peaceful civil disobedience. I don't want to fight with the officers, but I do want to take a stand. And the stand is this: give us justice for our children. That's it. But I've noticed that today you're dealing with three kinds of people. You have punks, perverts, and protectors. I'm a protector, and we need more Christian pastors to go down to our local school board meetings and address these issues and stand for our children.
Yes, we do. What do you think of that, Rick Green? What do you think of John, what he's doing?
I love this man. I'm telling you, Gene, I love this man. He is a man of God that is absolutely fearless, and he's exactly right. We need more like him, standing up at the school board meetings, standing up in the pulpit and talking about these things. This is the example. This is the way. This is exactly what Paul would have done and did. This is exactly what Jesus would have done and did. And we need more to do it. And listen to how John is articulating the issues, and then how he is standing with that peaceful protest. This is an art. This is something that God has blessed him to do, but others can do it, and they can learn how to do it well and be strategic. He wins hearts and minds when he does this because he does it so well. So I'm just thankful for him, man. I think we need to be standing with him. We need to be supporting him. Folks need to let him know when these things are going on in their communities. John goes all over the nation. He'll fly in for 3 minutes. I'm telling you, the sacrifices he and his family has made to be able to help influence the culture in the right way. We're just blessed to have you, brother.
Yes, we are. All right. So, John, how can people, before we move on, we want to put up your contact information. How can people contact you? I have a feeling you're going to get inundated.
Yes. Go to iknowgod.us to support me, to follow me there. I have a documentary that's already released. You can go to 22wordsfilm.com to see that documentary. It addresses how school-sponsored prayer was banned in America and how we've gone from prayer to porn, from prayer to transgenderism, from prayer to now demonizing white students and demoting and demeaning black students in the name of pigmentation. Please go and support me there.
Yeah, amen. We're going to show that trailer here just momentarily. But, John, it strikes me with what you were doing. Let's go back to the early 60s with Martin Luther King Jr. He was preaching, he was standing up, but it wasn't until he took to the street to protest, and he was peaceful, that anyone paid him attention. Why do you think that is?
Because oftentimes, people can be rather focused on their own well-being. Self-preservation is the problem in the American church. Oftentimes, we're more concerned with our own group rather than focusing on the broader picture. And I think when a person shows that they're willing to lay down their life, willing to deal with the ire of the media and have to be handcuffed, I don't want my children to see me handcuffed. I don't want my mother or my wife or my siblings to see me handcuffed. But for this issue, take me, arrest me, book me, fingerprint me, throw me in a cell. But at the end of the day, I have to make sure that blood is not on my hands. God told Ezekiel that if I tell you to do something and you fail to do it, then blood will be on your hands. I want my hands to be clean.
Amen. All right, 22 Words Film. Listen, preview this. You need to watch it. Here's a preview.
A growing number of parents and students are alarmed about some books and other content found in their school libraries.
The introduction of explicit sexual and LGBTQ-themed curricula and books, it's having an effect.
School boards ignore the rights of the parents in terms of how their children are educated.
It's a hedonistic cult.
The reason to support dead naming is because your son is dead.
If they think that a 14-year-old should be reading this in school, we have a serious problem.
God entrusted children to parents, not to politicians.
It's time for us to be just that bold in stopping it as they are in presenting it.
I'm going into Satan's territory.
I saw a very interesting video of a guy at a school board meeting. He was reading from the book that the little kids are being taught from, and it got very graphic.
Becomes erect, stiff, and larger.
Sir, I'm sorry.
Was it something I said? If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system?
The communist movement is at the heart. It's about dividing society, dividing parents from children.
Doctors tell parents today, what would you rather have, a live boy or a dead girl? God is looking
for men and women to go into the arena and contend for the faith. That means it's for the hypocrite if you endorse books like this to be in the school system. They can't make me leave. I have freedom of speech. Yes, you do. And you are supposed to uphold that. If you convert the hearts and the minds of kids in this district, you will reap it. This is a spiritual battle. You're either punk or a pervert if you don't remove this book. Well, your time's up. My time is not up. I'm not leaving. Because I came too far to defend these children in this district. If I leave, then who is going to defend the kids?
We should all have righteous anger over what they're trying to do to our children in schools. And if you think it's not happening in your public school, don't be deceived. Do not be deceived. You know, it angers me. My son, and I don't have grandkids yet, but my son, I thank God right now with what's going on in California, especially that he's not in school anymore. After he graduated, CRT, critical race theory, became a requirement to get your diploma. What he was talking about, teaching kids that if you have white skin, you're inherently racist. They're teaching kids to be bad and children of color to be the perpetual victim. That's what critical race theory is. Are you muted? You're muted.
This video was so shocking. And you know, when I saw it, when kind of previewed it, there was certain things I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, what?
Yeah. 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 Parents need to demand to see the curriculum of what their children are being taught, the books that they're being required to read, the books that are in their library. This is wrong.
Yes.
You know, it's the school system here, but it's also Hollywood. It's Disney.
It's all of it.
You know, I love Disney. I grew up loving that mouse. You know, I was in that era, and Disneyland was, you know, the greatest place to go when you were a kid. But in the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, it has become, it's become films that indoctrinate kids to say it's okay to be homosexual. It's okay to be non-binary. It's okay that if you don't like your gender, it's okay that Satan has a baby. You know, that Satan, or I forget, it's a new animated series, and I don't even know if they aired it because of the outrage, but it was a teenage girl who got raped by Satan and was having his baby. And it's a cartoon. That's Disney.
Never heard of that.
But that's Disney. And our schools, Disney, you know, when Matthew was growing up, it was don't let him watch SpongeBob. You know, it was Harry Potter.
Oh.
You know, that's still evil, but not as evil as what they're doing now. It's worse. And it's gotten much worse since COVID. Or it's always been there and we didn't become aware of it because of COVID, because now kids were homeschooled, so we got to see what our kids were learning. And Matthew, the last 2 years in high school, he was homeschooled, and I'm like, they're teaching you what? And especially in history, I'm like, no, I shouldn't say this on. I'm gonna. Is it no? You're not doing that. You're not learning that stuff because it's wrong. I will do your history class for you. Because I didn't want him to learn what was not right.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I know in the schools here they start as young as, I know in the middle school. I want to say, I think 4th. I know for sure 5th grade, and where they do, what is it? It's like, basically it's where they show the girls their development and whatnot, and what happens, puberty and all that kind of stuff, and then they show one for the boys, and some parents were like, no, I will talk to my child about these things. No, I don't want my child to watch this. It is my responsibility to tell, my child about her body when it's changing, all of that. And she doesn't need to see pictures of a boy. And I'm just like, what are they thinking? Like, are you serious? That is the parents' responsibility, not the school.
Yeah.
And these kids are so young.
That started when I was in school.
What?
Sex ed started when I was in school. Back in the 70s. The sex education started in the 70s when I was in school. That's when it started. Because I know it was a big, huge thing. But it wasn't graphic when they taught it to us. It wasn't graphic at all. Now it is. Now they actually show pictures of sex acts, different positions, not just a man and a woman, but men, women. It's disgusting. And these are our babies. They're taking away their childhood, and they're no longer innocent. So, and it goes back again to who you vote for, because school boards are voted. We have the right to vote people into school boards.
Right.
And the school boards are the ones that set the curriculum for the district. And and I'm sorry, but the teachers union needs to be disbanded. That lady, Randy, whatever her name is, Weinheimer or whatever, that is the head of the National Teachers Union.
Right.
She's a demon. She's evil.
I don't know.
She's the one that has kept our kids out of school during COVID. Know who you're voting for.
Well, that's why we are showing you these clips, these websites, so that you can check for yourself.
Right. Yeah. So, and just think about it. One party says that your children belong to the government, and another party says school choice.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, any questions or anything as we're winding down here?
I know the last clip was really, it hasn't gotten to that point here that I know of, but to see that was just very shocking. And and then it shouldn't be in some ways, but it was. It really was.
Yeah. Yeah.
In our schools. Wow.
Yeah, in our schools and our precious innocent children.
Mm.
Thank you, Angela. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Angela.
And
Thank
Barbara.
Yes.
We love the comments. Thank you so much. Yeah, spread, share these videos. Be sure to subscribe to both of our channels, at Real Talk as well as at Faith and Freedom Talk. We appreciate you and being here. Any questions? Oh, we have an announcement.
Yes.
Do you want to tell them? You want me to tell them?
You can tell them. I'm kind of, yes.
Well, so we're going to be on tomorrow night with a special Saturday night edition. There's been a lot of talk about the media and how they've been manipulating content, and it's gotten pretty serious to where there's going to be some investigations, and Latanya and I felt it was very important to bring it to you. Did you decide what time we were going on?
I know we're not gonna come on at this like at nighttime. I was thinking maybe, let me see, 3, 2, 1, maybe around, because I wanted to do it kind of early.
Remember, I'm 2 hours ahead of you.
Oh, that's right. So what's the so so
what were you thinking?
maybe noon your time.
Okay. Yeah.
And
that'll work.
Yes, and that'll be
2
2
o'clock.
my time.
2 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And I wanted to oh yes, different, yes, a lot of good comments in the um and a lot of good comments. I wanted to share this really quick. This was something that and it's not really related in a way. Well, I don't know, maybe it is, but I recently got my driver's license renewed, and I have no doubt that I personally believe that, because I don't believe in coincidence, like, oh, just things just happen. And I personally believe that God was helping me in this situation. And I'm going to share it really quick. So I listened to a station called VCY America. And I think probably they're in a lot of areas throughout the country and in the US. But so I was going to get my driver's license renewed, and I called online, and I called the ask, okay, what all do I need to do? Can I do it online or come in person? And so the lady said, you can do it online or come in person, either way. And so they asked me, do you plan on traveling in within the US? And I said, I don't know, maybe. I don't like to fly, but they said, yeah, maybe. And so they said, well, then you will need to get what they called a real ID.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay. And they said, so you just need to bring proof of like utility bills, something, and it was some other stuff. And so I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, okay, like, all right. So I didn't happen to go that day. I don't know what happened, but I didn't go that day. So the next day, I was like, okay, I'm going to go today. But earlier, I was, yes, or a passport, yes, for them to see that. And so I was listening to BCY America, and so they have different segments on there, and they had one where it's called Liberty Council, and they said if you are told that in order to fly within the US and that you need this real ID, don't get it. And I was like, what? And they said because, and then they went on to say, and God willing, tomorrow I'll leave the link to that. And they said, don't get it. They said they said more stuff to it. They said that they are putting chips in them or something is in them where they will be able to track you. They will be able to do, it's some other stuff. And this is not people, no conspiracy or anything like that. They have it on their website, and they even said, if possible, get rid of it. If you do have it, to get rid of it. And I was like, oh my goodness, because I was just about to get it because I didn't know. And so I was just so thankful. And I was like, oh, Lord, thank you, that was revealed. And so when I went to get my license renewed, got my, took a new picture, did all that. And lo and behold, when I went up they called my number, the person still asked me, they said, do you want to get the real ID? And I said, no. And then they said, okay. And that was the end of that. So, yeah, I did not know about this real ID because it seems harmless. Like, okay, but it's not a good thing. So at this moment, you can resist it, but they're not telling, like myself, I wasn't educated on it. I wasn't aware about it. So I was like, I have to share this because I almost got it and didn't know it. I'm sure a lot of other people don't know about it as well. So,
Right. Yeah.
You are so, yes, Rosie, that is so true because I was actually going to go that day and I got deterred, and then I, just happened, which I don't believe in just coincidence happening, that I was listening and then it came on about real ID. And then as I was listening and I'm like, what? They said, just get a plain driver's license. Your driver's license is good enough. So yes, I am very thankful.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that, Kathy? Now I'm really surprised you didn't know that. You didn't know that?
Nope.
So this is new information for you?
It is. I did not know it.
Yes.
Because I do travel. And now that my son isn't going to be stationed here in California, I'll probably be traveling a lot more just to go see him. But I travel for real estate conferences. And it would be easier, for real ID to get through, security and all that stuff. But
this is what I'm saying. Liberty Counsel went into details, and they were like, "That's not true. That you can't travel."
Well, I know you can still travel. It's just that you have to go through more screening, to get through security when you get on an airplane than if you had the real ID. That's
Right.
all.
Okay. So yes, don't get it. Oh, and we have a question. You have to get real ID to travel outside of the country, right?
No, you just need a passport.
You just need a passport. That's it.
That now what you said with the chip, that makes more sense, because if there's a chip in it and they can follow you, because the federal ID replaces the passport, they can know what countries you traveled from electronically, not just by your passport is stamped. I haven't traveled out of the country in years. My son said that he doesn't have they don't stamp his passport.
They don't.
Military, but
yeah,
that's a little different. So I don't know.
I will come with tomorrow a little more information and the website, so you can also so you can research it also for yourself, and I will re-listen. So I'll get more information, but Liberty Counsel, they have helped a lot of people. They're pretty well known. And so they said, they even said, if you got it, get rid of it. I'm just like, oh, wow, that you don't need that to travel. So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd like to know more about it.
Okay, I sure will.
All right.
So tomorrow is going to be 12 Pacific Standard Time. That's Kathy's time, and it's going to be it'll be 2:00 Eastern Time. No, Central Standard Time. Sorry. 2:00 Central Standard Time, 3:00 Eastern Time. But we're going to put out a thumbnail.
Yep, I'm working on it right now.
We're going to put out a thumbnail. And if you didn't have a question tonight, you think about it, please, even if it's still about what we did today or any other time, put it, put the question there, and we will do our best. We're learning too. So if there is not any other more questions, oh, thank you. Sorry about that. So, if there is, I don't see any more questions. Kathy?
Yeah, I don't see any either.
Okay.
So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Yes.
Thanks so much. God bless everyone.
God bless. Shalom. Have a great night and tomorrow.